Receiving an inheritance can be both a blessing and an overwhelming experience. Whether it includes money or property or sentimental items, knowing exactly how to manage it wisely is crucial. Here's a step by step guide we'll take you through to make informed decisions while honoring the legacy that you've received. Step one, first and foremost, you need to give yourself time to reflect and process everything that's happening. Receiving an inheritance often comes with an emotional weight. It's usually tied to the loss of a loved one. Resisting the urge to make any immediate decisions is really important. And taking the time to reflect on your personal financial goals and how this inheritance could play a role in achieving them is really quite pivotal. This will really help you determine the best course of action for your situation. The second thing to do is to understand. Understand exactly it is what you've inherited. Is it cash, investments, real estate, or a valuable collection? Each of these assets may have a specific legal or financial implication. So, getting a clear picture of what you're dealing with is key. Taking inventory and including any associated documents like wills, trusts, or deeds will be an important thing to do. Step number three, handling immediate financial obligations. If the inheritance includes debts or liabilities tied to the asset, make sure to properly address these promptly. Additionally, use part of the inheritance if needed to build or strengthen an emergency reserve for yourself personally. So that way you can be sure you're safeguarding your long term financial future. Step four, building a plan. Once you've had time to reflect and give yourself that time to process your emotions and really think about what you want for the future, it comes time to build out a plan for managing your inheritance. This is where working with the right professional team becomes pivotal. Moreover, this building out this plan can minimize potential conflicts with other heirs who may have a stake in the inheritance. One important thing that I would challenge you to think about is, what is your why? Has it changed? Is it the same? And what do these new resources mean for your personal why? Step five is implementation. Once you understand and have built out the plan for managing these assets well, it's important to start working with your advisor team and your legal team and your tax team to make sure you're doing the right things. So does that mean paying off debts? Does that mean investing certain assets into index funds? Keeping your priorities in mind and structuring a roadmap that aligns with your personal and financial aspirations is key. One temptation I think you will have with this newfound level of wealth is impulse spending. There's going to be this huge temptation to splurge on something that you've never been able to afford before in the past, whether it's on yourself or your friends or a loved one. The important thing to integrate is making sure that your spending does not cause a long-term risk with the long-term solvency and jeopardize your long-term financial trajectory. So it's okay to splurge and spend money on certain things, but you certainly don't want to make a habit of it. So if there's one or two top things that you really want to do, by all means, let's plan around it and figure out a way to make that happen. However, I've seen where people excessively overspend and they end up worse off than they were prior to receiving the inheritance. Step seven is estate planning. So, with this new level of wealth, it's important for you to re examine the estate planning documents that are currently in place. So, looking at beneficiaries, your revocable trust, making sure it's all structured appropriately to recognize not only the tax laws, but also how you want your legacy, your own personal legacy, to be passed on and remembered. So my final thoughts on this all, receiving an inheritance, it can certainly be a very incredible thing. I've also seen sad situations where people have ended off worse off than they were prior to receiving that inheritance. So, taking the right steps along the way, working with the right team is absolutely pivotal to making sure that you're making the most of this opportunity and honoring the legacy and the assets that you've received. So with that, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to help how I can. Thank you.